Hi, welcome to the session. So in this particular session, we are going to see attributes of a data frame. Okay. So let us consider this particular student data frame we have. So you can see name, gender, class, average. These are the column labels or column names, column labels we have. Then we have indexes called A, B, C. These are the indexes. We have data here, Munira F12 and the average marks is there 85.67. Similarly, Sanha F11 98.92. So we have 3 rows, fine, 3 rows and we have 4 columns, fine. So let us say shape attribute. So we want to take first attribute as a shape, then shape is going to display the number of rows is 3 and number of columns is 4, fine. So then size attribute, what is the size of this particular data frame? So what is the size? We have 3 rows and 4 columns, multiply 3 by 4, that is the total number of elements are 12. So you can count the number of elements here 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you count the total number of elements are there, it will be having 12 elements are there. So next attribute is index attribute. So in this particular index attribute, suppose we want to display only the index labels, let us say A, B, C, we want to display only the indexes. So we use index attribute. So then columns attribute, suppose we want only to display the column labels, that is name, gender, class, average. So we can use columns attributes, okay. Now let us say we want to display both index also and columns also. Then we use what? Access is the attribute that will display both both row and column labels, okay. That means it's going to display what? A, B, C and name, gender, class and average. Then D type is the data type of each column. So name, what is the data type? It's an object. Gender, what is the data type? Object. So class, this is the integer type and average, this is float type. So ndim, that is the number of dimensions. So we know that data frame is two-dimensional data structure and that's why it's going to display 2. If it's a series, then it's going to display 1. Okay. Then empty. So this is a particular attribute. We can able to check whether it's a data frame contains elements or not. If it does not contain element, it will return true. Now, since it contains elements, so it will return false. This empty will return false. So then what is a transpose of a data frame? That transpose T is to reverse the rows into columns, columns into rows. So that we are going to see one practical example. So we'll go for the spider over here. So as you can see in this particular spider, we have a data frame over here. So in this particular, let me run this one. I will show you what I mean to say. So the same data frame that just now we have seen, name, gender, class, average. So I have created this particular data frame. So this is a data frame I have created here by using dictionary of list. Okay. And the indexes ABC and the data we are giving from this dictionary of list and we are creating the data frame. Fine. So if you don't know how to create this data frame, please watch the earlier video, that is data frame part 1, part 2 you can watch, okay. Now we got this particular data frame. Let us see the attributes one by one. So I have designed, let me minimize this, let me take out my notepad. So I have in this particular notepad, the first question, we want to display shape and size of the data frame. So let me copy this and I'm going to paste this question over here, shape and size of the data frame. So let me print shape here. Shape of this particular data frame is equal to, what is the name of this particular data frame we have? It's a student. The name we have given is student is the data frame. So that means I need to use what? Not df, it is student dot shape. So if I say this one student dot shape, let me run this one and you can see the shape is 3, 4, 3 rows and 4 columns, fine. So let us say size, I want to display size, print, I will say here the size is equal to size colon, then I can say same thing student dot. So let me copy the student dot, okay, size. So let me run this one. So what is the size? You can see, we can see here 12. So we have 3 rows and 4 columns. So that's why it is 12. Multiply 3 into 4, we are going to get 12. So let me have a separator over here. Let me copy this separator. Okay. Then let us go for, let us say I need to display total number of, let me go for the next question. Okay. We minimize this, total number of rows and columns. So let me copy this. So total number of rows and columns, that is our next question. We need to find out how many rows are there, how many columns are there in separate variables. So I can say row comma columns. There are two variables I am taking, that is equal to, I can say here student dot shape. So we know that what shape is going to return 3 comma 4. Okay, so what is happening here? See, let me close this. Student comma shape. So this particular shape is going to return what? 3 comma 4. 3 will be assigned to row and 4 will be assigned to columns. So we can display we can display rows. Okay, number of rows I can display here, number of rows equal to, so I can say equal to rows. Okay. Similarly, copy this one and I can say number of columns equal to, I can say COLS. Okay. Here it is just row. Okay. If I want, I have to give here rows and I can say rows here. Fine. Now we have rows and column. These are the two variables. Student dot shape is going to return 3 comma 4. 3 will be assigned to rows and 4 will be assigned to columns. If you print this one, let me run this one and see what is going to happen. So number of rows 3 and number of columns 4. This particular particular method is useful when we want to take separate number of rows and separate number of columns in different variables. Okay. I hope you have understood this particular shape and size attribute. Let me remove these things so that we should not get confused with the next question. Let me minimize this. Let us go to the next question. We have, I want to display the data type of each column in the data frame. Okay. That's what the question says. I need to display data type of each column. So I can say that one here, print, what's that data frame name? Student dot D types. So this is the attribute here. D types is an attribute that is going to display student. Okay, D. Student dot D types. So let me run this one, and you can see here name is an object type, gender is an object type. Okay, class is integer and average is float type. So we have displayed the data type of each column. Okay, let me go to the next question. So next question is, check if student data frame is empty or it contains data. Okay, let me copy this. So let me paste over here. Student data frame. Okay, I will say DF here. Okay, DF. Now let me run. Let me type this particular thing. Print data frame name is student dot empty. Okay, so let me run this one, and you can see in this particular data frame, you can see this data frame contains data. That's why it is false. Now let us create an empty data frame. So how to create an empty data frame? Let me have a separator over here. So I'm going to create an empty data frame. Okay, empty data frame. So how can I create empty data frame? Let me take this as a DF. DF is equal to PD dot data frame. Fine. So if I say this one, PD dot data frame, that's it. We are not going to give any data inside. So then I can say here print DF. Okay. Import pandas I said here, right? See, import pandas, so I don't have PD. So this is where we are going to make mistakes. So we said here pandas. Okay, and we did not give any alternate name as PD. Okay, so what I have to do is I need to say here pandas only. Okay, so let me run this and check. So we have empty data frame. So it is displaying empty data frame. So let me use this particular attribute. So in this attribute, I can say instead of student, I can say this data frame df is empty or not. So let me check this one, and as you can see, this one is false, okay? And this particular data frame, the empty data frame, we know it's an empty. Now it's returning what? True. Fine. So in this way, we can able to find out true or false, whether the data frame contains data or not. So let me take out all these things. Let us go to the next question. Row and column labels of a data frame. Okay. Let me copy this particular question and let me go back to remove this. And the fifth question we are doing now, row and column labels of a data frame. So how to do that one? So let me write here print. If I say df dot index row and column labels, let us write only this much. Let me run this one. Not df, sorry. See, we are going to confuse. We used to so much of we used to this df is we will forget the actual data frame. In the exam also, some of the student we have seen that they are going to write df even though the data frame name is student. So we have to make sure this, we should not make such mistakes. You can see now the index is ABC and it is type object. Okay, even though it's a string, so it's like a character, single character, so it will say object. Okay. So it's an object type. So if it is an integer, it will say int here, okay, data type. So we got only the indexes we got. Fine. Now let us say I want to say here print student dot columns. So if I say student dot columns, let me run this one, and you can see here we got complete column labels we got. So what we have, name, gender, class, average, so that has been displayed. And again, this is also a type, data type is object of this particular column labels. Okay. Now next, let us say if I want to say here, let me copy this particular print statement, and I can say here access. This is also an attribute. So if I run this one, so what we got here, we got the first one is the index, second one is the columns. Now in this here you can see it has both row label and the column labels it is going to display. You can see ABC as well as name, gender, class, average is displayed over here. Fine. Let us go to the next question, and let us say we want to display the values of a data frame. Only we want to display the values of a data frame. Let me copy over here. Okay. So let us write here print, and we need student dot values. Fine. Student dot values. Let me run this one and check what we are going to get. So you can see we got only the values. So it's in the form of a list of list. You can see Munira F. So this is the list. This is a list. So you see outside we have another list. So list of lists. So let us go to the next question. Transpose. Okay. Let me copy this. We need to find out transpose of a. Okay. Let me copy this print statement here. And student dot capital T. Okay. Make sure capital T. So let me run this one, and you can see we have name, age, gender. Name, age, gender has come as row index, and ABC. Now let me print of this original data frame. Okay. Let me have a separator here, and let me run this one, and you can see the original data frame, and we have transpose of a data frame, and the original data frame will not be changed. So student will be as it is. Now you can see the rows have become columns have become rows. So you can see this, the indexes here. So we have ABC index, ABC has come over here, and the column names, it has come as a row indexes. Fine. And you can see Munira, Sanha, Zainab. Earlier it is a column, now it has become a rows. Or what actually happens is rows will become columns, columns will become rows here in this particular transport. Now we got a last one, NDIM. Okay, number of dimensions. I told you about this. Let me copy this particular, the 8th question. We are into the 8th and last question, last attribute, NDIM, the student dot NDIM. So number of dimensions. So let me run this one, and we get number of dimensions for this particular data frame is 2. So if we have a series here, we will get 1. Okay. So hope you have got these particular attributes of a data frame. Thank you very much.